Hey people, welcome to the podcast. On today's podcast, I had an insightful conversation with Taufik. Now, Taufik happens to write poems, basically books. So, since you guys know that books is not merely about putting whatever in your mind on paper, there are a lot of things that goes to it. Taufik is here to share his experience. We spoke about his mental health. We spoke about the fact that there is a need to love people, and then many more. If you are someone who really enjoy reading books, I think this is the right video for you. So just stay back and listen to this wonderful podcast. And please do well to subscribe and also leave a like and a comment. Hey, lovely people of the internet. It's Gabriel and welcome to wwadd. I hope you guys are doing very, very well. So today I have here Taufik. Taufik happened to come from Nigeria and he's a student here. I mean, that's the little I know about him. So he's going to do the rest for me and for you guys. Well, before we start the conversation, you know the right thing to do. Please do it to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. I feel like it's now like a song. Well, leave a like button as well as leave a comment in the comment section. And I mean the Nigerian community, you have your guy here. Don't disappoint him. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Those who are the returning subscribers, I mean those who are following my work, I hope you guys are learning a lot from me. And then I want us to create an empire. So you guys, I want to be your leader. So just do it to subscribe so that we can create that group, because I think there is a lot that need to be said and I've decided to, take the lead. So, Taufik.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Seriously. How long has it been that I had to actually force my way into you bringing you?
No, I mean, it's finally I'm here.
Yeah.
It's a privilege. I'm happy. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad we finally made it happen.
You don't know how happy I am myself,
It's good. It's good to be here, honestly.
I mean, can you hear yourself when you talk?
Of course.
Yeah. All right. Because I can hear. I don't know why for some reasons.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think I can hear myself.
Okay, good. Perfectly. Everything is checked, guys. That was just by the way. So, Taufik, I am happy myself because I have planned this from the first day I met you. I set up my questions in my head because I felt like you had something intriguing that I need to know about literature.
Now I'm intimidated. I'm scared.
No, you shouldn't.
Because you've asked these questions for so long.
No, it shouldn't. It's going to be a normal conversation as well.
All right.
Because I want to know a lot about literature, and you happen to be someone who has written books and you know a lot about literature. But before we dive into literature, you definitely have to know certain things. Are you happy in this world?
Of course I am.
You are happy. You are satisfied with everything happening around you.
No one is satisfied.
Yeah.
No one is satisfied. No one should be.
No one should be.
Yeah, no one should be satisfied with the way of life, with the way things are. And I think there is this beautiful definition for creativity. Or it said creativity is not the pursuit of wanting to create more. It is the feeling of not being okay with the way things are. All right. So the strive to create new things, new technology, new things, because I'm not okay with the fact that I can only text people. Mm-hmm. So let's create video calls. Let's be able to talk to people.
So that means that there are things.
So there are things. So if people are satisfied with the way the world is, I mean, there will not be new invention in existence. So yeah.
So following a little bit, I realized that you write books, right? Yeah. And you write books pertaining to love. And seriously, what's funny is that me as a person, I actually am someone who is not, I don't know, is it because I'm not interested in it or I find it so difficult myself to the extent that I find your book interesting because I think it gives us, how do you call it? Would you say pickup lines? You can get some pickup lines in there, which I will talk about because I'm someone who don't have any. Trust me, when it comes to that, I work to girls, I talk them, look, I like you. If you're interested, let's date.
Just straight to the point.
Just straight to the point, you know. To the extent that I remember the first time I did this, I tried flirting, yeah. All I did was to kind of copy someone's smile. So anytime I see the lady, I smile to the extent that the lady finally noticed and said, why do you do your mouth like that?
Why do you always do this?
So I think I'm going to learn some things from your book and then from you as well, because you in person is going to give me more than the book if I read it alone. Mind you, I'm not a good reader as well. Not that I'm not a good reader. I don't love reading. We will dive into that. So quickly moving forward. Taufik, tell me, where did you get interest in writing books?
Inspiration, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is I get inspired from different things. It's always funny the way inspiration works for me. You might you might be talking about love, and what I deduce from it is hatred. You know, I might be reading about ants, and I write about antelopes. So it's very, very complicated and funny.
Yeah.
So, and generally it's from the experience of life, the things I see, the musics I hear, you know, sometimes I write after even watching a movie. I'm just be inspired. Okay, this is beautiful. Let me just write this into a poem. Let me make it into a poem. Let me write lines and verses and stanzas. So
I see.
yeah.
So when did you start writing poems? Now that
I started writing poem 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
This is recent. Well, it's been long because by then I was still in I was done with secondary school.
Yeah.
So you still had then, I mean, at that age you had the words to create poems. That was very wonderful to me, I must say.
It's
Would you say growing up you were someone who really loved writing, or
no?
you just developed
That's
it
the
at
funny
2012?
part. I 2012 was when I finished high school, right?
Like
And I know many of my colleagues would find it they would be surprised seeing a computer of me writing poems, because I'm not the one who really love going to literature classes and all of that, because of the horrible experience I had with my literature teacher. And but I indulge in Yoruba literature. I read that very well because I could read. I take pride in reading Yoruba. Yoruba as a language. Yoruba as like this literature. So I'm not sure I can do that now. But then I was like the legend, like the guy, the go-to guy when it comes to reading Yoruba literatures. So, but then English literature, when I was in school, it's not something I really am fond of. But then one way I was, I didn't want to say the story, but there's a backstory to that. There's, I was interested in somebody who was interested in poetry. So I wanted to impress her. And I wrote a poem and we wrote a poem together. Like I asked her to write a part and I write my part. And it was beautiful. I wish I could still lay my hands on those pieces. It's gone, but I wish I could still see them because it's profound. Not because it's my first. It's more because of the vocabularies there, because of the words I used, because it is more rhymes.
It has the vocabularies.
Trust me, when you're in love, things will happen. Magic will happen.
All right. Now that you've evoked the word literature, what is the definition of literature?
Literature to me is the world. Everything around us is literature. I believe there would be no progress without literature. I mean, now everyone is giving all the accolades to technology right now. But without the invention or without the existence of literature, there will be nothing. I mean, we would not grow as human.
So for me, what comes to mind when I hear literature is all about reading. Is that it?
It's more than that. Literature are, if you can remember when growing up, those folk stories, those folk tales that you've been told at night, those things, everything is literature. The history, the documentation of history, knowing about our predecessors, knowing about all of those things, the civil wars, everything. The documentation is history. So it's literature, sorry.
Of course, it's literature. So where do you place arts and literature? They have something in common?
Of course. Arts is a form of creativity, right? Anything creative is literature. For me, it's broader. So once you can be creative with literature, it's artistic. That's the way I say it.
I see. So why did you choose to write a poem about love? Before that, how do you define love?
Love for me is the ability is selflessness. The ability to be able to sacrifice something big or huge, something that is very meaningful to you. If you're unable to do that, you should question your love.
So should you also ask for results in return when you sacrifice something?
No. That's selflessness. I mean, if you're selfless, you don't expect. It's not a bargain. It's not transactional. It's selfless.
It's not a barter trade. You just give it out.
You just give it out. That's love.
That's love.
Yeah.
So tell me, why did you choose to write about love?
I don't. That's the conception. I don't want to call it misconception, but that's the way a lot of people say it. At the point in time, people choose to call me Shakespeare because they think I only write about love. I don't write about love alone. I write about heartbreak. I write about politics. I write about racism.
I've read your book. I read just a little part. Well, I just got hands on it and I read a little part.
Yeah, that's it. Because I started the book with love poems. I started the first part is about love. It's partitioned into two parts. The first part is about love and the other part is about life. In fact, in the initial, when I was trying to pick a name for my book, I wanted to name it LL, Love Life, Love and Life, LL. But then,
that too is an art.
Of course.
Love. Yeah. And then in the book, you have love and then life.
Yeah. So the thing is, I believe like this is life, right?
Yeah.
And this is love. This is the whole of existence. To me, that's the way I see it. Love and life is the whole of existence.
So
instead of just saying life is the whole of existence, right? Give love a larger portion as well.
I see.
A larger
so that means
circle.
None of them cannot exist without the other.
I mean, what is existence without love? That's the way I see it.
All right. That's so nice. So I would also want to ask, sometimes, writing about this kind of things, do you put sometimes, it's like putting yourself in the whole book writing, right? It's like you've experienced, because you made mention that it's through experiences and stuff and all these kind of things. So have you experienced something that has made, because when you look at writing a book, people go through depression. That's when they write books. People go through, PTSD. That's why they write books, so that they, in a way, advise people. Because I believe that reading books actually is not just about reading like I do. I just read words and that. So, but then you guys are looking forward for us to look at certain things within that we don't have to meet you for you to tell us, but it's all in the book. If you read the book to the understanding that you guys want us to have. So now that I have you, I want to now ask you, because for me, I just read the surface, I just read the words. Is there something that's behind you writing, apart from the inspiration, have you gone through some challenges that made you write?
The thing is, sometimes for a writer, for you to be as artistic as possible, there was a time I was mentoring somebody about writing poems and all of that. And it was like, he walked up to me and I was like, no, my poem doesn't match up to you. Look at the way you describe these things. Look at, like, they're so real. Yeah. Then what I advised him is, when you want to write about maybe a mourning mother who lost a child, you need to place yourself in the mother's shoe. You need to feel the pain. You need to be in her shoe. You need to imagine what it feels like to be a mother who lost a child. Yeah. So until you are able to reciprocate or duplicate that feeling into yourself, that's when you're able to like be artistic and create something real for people. I've tapped into an artist experience, an actor actually. So he told me that before he could be a character in a movie, he had to be depressed or sober for a long time, because for him to fit into the shoe of that character, for him to be able to like act out that role the way it should be acted. So it's the same thing for writing. Sometimes you need to picture your friends. This is my friend and he has certain character. Okay, what if he possesses this power? What if he can do this? We play a lot of games, and sometimes they say creatives are mad people. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, it's true. Because it's hard for you to be able to like create something where there is nothing. So that's it for me.
So I feel like you actually went around by talking to others or putting others in a place of you. This time I'm asking you.
How? I don't get.
You don't get it. I'm asking you, have you gone through something before that made you actually write your book, your poems? Or you just put yourself in the shoe, but then you've not gone through it really before, like?
Of course I have. Most of the poems, I wouldn't say most, maybe part of my poems or half of the poems there are based on my experiences. My love life.
Yeah, it's all about love.
Heartbreaks.
You see those letters.
The heartbreaks. Yeah, of course. There are poems there. There's a point in time in my life that I was heartbroken, and I was depressed for a period of 6 months. Wow. I was off social media. I wasn't on Facebook. I wasn't on Instagram. I wasn't on WhatsApp.
Yeah, that's how it works.
So it's just like that. Like,
because nothing actually interests you any longer.
The point I knew I was actually depressed.
No, is it because you were too much in love? Well, we'll talk about that.
No, it was because I never saw the heartbreak coming.
That was the first one.
It wasn't the first one, but this one, like, I never pictured it. Like, I never expected to be heartbroken by this person. You get it.
Yeah,
like, it caught me unawares.
Yeah.
So I was just there, and it's funny. I wasn't aware that I was depressed. Not until I was invited to play football, and I said no. I mean, how on earth could I do that? I love football a lot. I mean, so then I knew something is wrong somewhere, and I needed to pay attention to myself and all of that. So
So how did you go about it?
Yeah, it was. There was a friend of mine that was there at that time, and he kept taking me out, and it was like, "Guy, let's go." We started playing games that I wasn't even playing before, going to places and all of that. So with time, like, I got on my feet and I was back.
Because that's what I literally tell people. It's about who you fall on at the end of the day. So kudos to that your friend who was available for you.
That was good.
You didn't end up falling in love with okay, it's a boy.
Yeah, it's a guy. and it's profound. I always tell people to, sometimes people try to run away from heartbreaks.
Yeah, especially the men.
No, don't run away from heartbreaks.
You know what is funny? I was about to ask you, someone will be somewhere and be like, heartbreak that's been happening all the time, and then you never knew this was coming. You should always be in love with not all your heart. Some part of your heart should be there. So someone like you, I know someone will be like, you slacked. But then I used to tell people that, look, men also actually go through depression. But then we have this kind of macho behavior. Even at hospitals, people will be like, inject me, I can take it. I'm strong. Behind it, there are a lot of things going on. So sometimes, it's really necessary to know the sex of your patient, because what a female will go through when it comes to depression is actually different, somehow totally different from what a male will go through. Males, they will laugh, they will be strong and all those stuff. But then within, there's something wrong with them. Unlike lady who cry, who do all sorts of nagging and stuff, guys wouldn't do that. So that's why sometimes people will end up being like, no, you're a guy, you shouldn't do that. But then
exactly. Recently, I collaborated with a Moroccan guy, and what we talked about is about male mental health.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's been neglected. People, the societal expectation of men are too much and unbearable. So we should be human first.
Yeah, we are human first.
So those feelings, we shouldn't deny ourselves from breaking down from all of those things. Yeah. That is the norm, to expect a man to be stoic and strong and unbreakable.
Those things. You started using the words. Let's move on.
Strong words.
Let's move on. So what are you looking forward? To when your readers read your book?
I'm looking forward to
what do you expect them to gain from reading your book?
The thing is, my goal, and the way I introduced myself, and I was invited to a show recently, and I introduced myself as a spiritual soul, having human experience. I read that somewhere, and I felt it was beautiful, and it resonates with me perfectly. My goal is to just impact souls, to impact people, to meet. I believe I'm a spiritual body moving to impact life. So what I want to do basically is to have my book read across globally, and maybe someone could just read a line or two lines and change their lives. Or maybe they could just read something in my book and be like, "This is what I'm going through." And I've heard that many times. Like, you wrote this poem for me.
It's just like going to a place when someone is talking, and it feels like the person is just talking to you directly.
Yeah, and it's intentional. I do that often when I write. Take for instance the first poem in my book. I wrote when I finished. I already published. Now when I came back, I was like, no, this sounds more masculine. I should write for the girls, the feminine parts. Exactly. So I wrote the same poem in a feminine tone. Then I have both poems published in a book. It's always like that. I always be like, okay, I need to speak for this person. I need to speak for that. I need to speak for these people. It's always like when you're in pain, in solitude, when you're alone and you're in pain, it's the pain is gross. Than when you have someone share the same point with you. When you be like, okay, this pain I'm going through, this person is also going through it. This person is also going through it. So it becomes lesser.
Yeah.
The burden becomes lesser and the pain becomes lesser. So that's what I try to do. When I picture events, sad events, I still be like, okay, what if this person is also going through this? I try to picture things because all of these things, I believe they exist truly.
Yeah, they exist.
So it's until I get feedbacks from people and be like, you wrote this poem for me. I'm like, cool. Yes. I wasn't mad after all when I was writing.
I mean, talking about, going through things together with people, that reminds me of, those days whenever you are late for something, maybe classroom, you'll be like, I hope my friend is also late so that, they share the punishment.
Of course. Yeah, I was trying to say that sometimes there's a poem I wrote about mother love, like I believe that's the purest, profound form of love, a love from a mother to their children. But at the same point, you can also interpret it for a pure love from God to human. You can also interpret it for a love from a male lover to a female lover. So it's like that. It's the way you see it. It's your own perception. Your current situation at the moment will give you the interpretation. And I believe that's the success of a poem.
Yeah. So I wanted to actually find out, So that means sometimes you can write a poem, all right? Then later on, when you read it, you realize that, no, I can interpret it this way, you yourself, after writing a poem.
That haven't happened to me often.
Yeah.
What usually happens is for me to like intentional about it.
Yeah, that you did before.
Yeah. But what usually happens sometimes is I tell people that I mentor when they write poems that don't publish your first poem. When you first write a poem, your first draft, don't put it out. Hold on to it. Because sometimes you get to change some words or some vocabularies. You feel like, oh, this doesn't portray what I want to say well. Okay, this will be better if I had added this. So that's what happens sometimes when I go back to some of the poems I've written. Even the book I've published now, if you ask me to review it, I would most likely change most of the words. Or change the styles and all of those things. So those are the things that happen. But changing the whole poem to suit a different scenario, I can barely relate to that.
So moving on quickly, speaking about words, okay. I don't know how you choose your words, but I've realized that in the trend of talking about love, especially when you are, I don't know, this word keeps leaving my brain. You are using your pickup lines. Normally, you realize that it's all medically related, like I can be your oxygen. I should be the air you breathe. Meanwhile, the air you breathe is actually oxygen. You cannot be the air I breathe. And all sorts of, things, leave the sun alone. I can be your vitamin D. You are my heart. All these things are medically related. How do you choose
a lot of things. Come on.
I know. Like, I planned. Literally, I planned to come and just ask you, how do you choose your words before we move on quickly to, the health benefits of reading and what you think that, because definitely somehow it's a head podcast that we have to talk about it. What you think is the benefit or the head benefit of people reading your poem. But before that, how do you choose your words?
Choosing my words?
Yeah, your words.
In what aspect? Really?
Let's say, I don't know, if maybe you take a poem, for instance. How do you know this word fits? This word doesn't fit? Because I know they are synonyms, right?
Yeah.
Do you think of rhyming the words? Do you think of those kind of stuff?
There are two things to be considered. Sometimes you consider the rhythm. Sometimes you consider the rhymes, the end rhymes. So it depends on what kind of poem you want to say. If you want to portray, if you want to be more concerned about the end rhymes.
Yeah.
And for me, that's kind of boring. I think people should pay more attention to rhythms. So when you pay attention on rhythms and you feel like this vocabulary is much more hard or it has alliteration and you want to use assonance, for instance. So you need to pay attention to the words you're using so you can replace this for that. This is more suitable here. And sometimes it depends on your audience. Take, for instance, I wrote a poem about snow. And the poem is meant to be nursery rhyme. So I knew that I'm not meant to infuse hard or big vocabularies or big grammars in it. I need to look for something that is relatable for all age range and all levels. So
I see. Yeah. So it's very important.
So you consider the audience. What audience are you trying to speak with? And when I started, I didn't take that into consideration. I said, no, my audience should not dictate what I want to write.
Exactly.
But now I start to realize that they play a crucial role because in the end they are the people you want to communicate with. You're not writing for yourself. You're writing for the audience.
Yeah. Just like in the YouTube space, you have to consider the people watching. Speaking of that, you guys should subscribe. So moving on quickly, you know why I asked you about choice of words? You know, sometimes you'd want to move to a lady. Like you said, you have to consider the lady you are talking to.
Yeah.
So, you know, the choice of words, the words that will actually sell you better.
Yes.
Unlike mine that you move quickly and say, can we go on a date? No, you know. So I hope that at the end of the podcast, I'll get some few words from you and use it in my next time hunting. So tell me, what do you think are the benefits of, let me say, reading in general? Because I know poem. Okay, let's do poem first.
Reading poems?
Yeah, reading poems, yeah.
Reading poems, firstly, the entertainment benefit from it. Because poems are fun to read. Yeah. So if you're down, if you feel depressed, you should go back, run to poems and read poems. Exactly. I think they will elevate you.
They will elevate you.
So that's one. Secondly is you gain more insights. You gain vocabularies too. Yeah. So yeah. For me, those are the things I feel like I'm asking you a social study question. I think of right now. It's true. But poems are profound also. They could like hold up a theme, or they could be unique to a certain set of people, maybe a nation, for instance. Even the national anthem is a form of poem. Wow. Yeah, so it could be, it depends on the kind of poem and the kind of audience and the people that is being directed to. Yeah, interestingly, I know you force this thing in movies where you put people in, mental house. I don't want to say mental house, like, I don't know how to put the word, it just escaped me. So you put people there and you realize that when you go there, they play cards, and sometimes do arts, they draw. Some of them actually read poems because there's something called the poem therapy, where people, like you said, people who are depressed, they can read your poems to actually get elevated because they are entertaining. Yes. You know, you see people reading and they'll be laughing because, they know what they are gaining out of it. So rightly said, it's actually a very good way of, getting out of your depression if you are depressed. So thanks for doing the good work. So we are not the only people doing the work. You guys are actually also doing, which is very, very good. So I think we've touched on a little bit of everything. Definitely, like you said, it helps with your social skills as well. Yeah. We all need it because recently I put something on my status. I was like, do you prefer, do you prefer to be invisible or to read someone's mind, to read people's mind? I'm asking you, answer. What do you prefer? Then I'll go ahead with it. Do you prefer to be invisible to people or read people's mind? Initially, I would say to read people's mind. But no, it's not a good thing.
It's not a violence. At the point, it's not a good thing. But you have between two choices. Definitely, I'll go about reading people's mind.
I won't want to read people's mind. I feel like
that will help me interact with people. Imagine being invisible.
Trust me, alone. Trust me, there are things you don't want to know.
I know, but then it's better that way as compared to being invisible.
I would rather be invisible.
You would rather be invisible.
Yeah, I've noticed that there's some certain information that you should not know.
Yeah, it's definitely important.
If you know them, you can't unknow them. And they will make you uncomfortable for the rest of your life. Imagine knowing that you've been just let's just picture this scenario. It's never going to happen to anyone, but let's just picture it. Yeah. Imagine getting to know that the wife you married to for 10 years, that you have kids with, already has a kid out of wedlock before even getting married to you and never informed you about it. Yeah. This is something that you might not know for the rest of your life till you die, and you love this person like flawlessly. Yeah. You live a peaceful life and you enjoy your life. But at a point where you get to know that information, you'll be uncomfortable for the rest of your life. Could you move the mic a little bit like that? You'll be uncomfortable. So for me, I believe that there's certain information that it's best unknown. Yeah, so I don't want to tamper with it. For me, for instance, when I'm in a relationship, I don't check people's phones. Ooh. I believe that's their privacy. Every lady will have you. I don't want to know what's going on there. Yeah, it's true. You understand? Yeah. But then I feel like reading the book actually help build your social skill as well, which is very important when it comes to, controlling your mental health. It also makes you intelligent because you should know a little bit of everything. Of course, you'll be able to have more meaningful conversations. Yeah. For instance, when you're reading a book and then you find out that a cardiologist is someone who takes care of the heart, when you're going to the hospital and you're having a heart problem, you definitely will have to go and see a cardiologist. So those are some of the benefits. In buying underwear, which do you consider? Is it quality or the make? Quality, of course.
You consider the quality.
I don't go for brands.
You don't care if it's
no. I don't care. I don't go for brands. Care. No.
Oh, all right. All right. So what is one of the morning routines you can never miss?
Stocks.
Like in the morning, one of your morning routines.
Morning.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about money. My head wants to have money.
All you think about is money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not money.
Workouts.
You work out?
Yeah, a little bit.
And you cannot miss it.
Yes, because I've planned myself since I read Atomic Habits. It made me plan myself to not go into the bathroom except I work out.
Oh wow!
So I had to like do a little exercise.
Okay,
if it's
let me
like
pick that from
5 push-ups or 10 push-ups at least, or 20, 30, as far as I can go. Then go into the bathroom, then take your bath.
I don't know if you've written something about the body of woman, but I'm going to ask you a direct question. Mention one part of your opposite sex that you find attractive. I'll tell you a medical fact about it.
That I find attractive. Hair generally.
The hair.
Yeah.
The hair actually has some kind of cells that grows faster, you know. It's not all our body cells that grows, especially the brain, what you call the neurons, the brain cells. When they die, they die. I don't know if you've heard of Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
When your brain cells die, they don't generate back.
Okay.
But your hair, they actually have some kind of cells, the follicle cells, that goes faster. They don't die. So that's one interesting thing I would say about it. And you can actually have some kind of hormones that can help you grow hair. There's some ladies grow beard.
I know.
Right. This is
actually, I think that's a form of disorder.
A hormone disorder.
Yeah.
So something like that exists. And people who grow hair actually might be having what you call PCOS, polycystic something.
I talked about that. I mentioned that in one of my poems in my books.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the way men look at women who grow beards and grow hair in strange areas in their body.
I think it's polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Yeah. What I was trying to portray in the poem is that men should stop policing women. Like, it's enough burden that they don't want hair to grow in those parts.
Yeah.
Why put pressure on them? Taint them and say bad things about them. No, you should not do that.
It can be PCOS. So that's one thing I really want to tell you. And finally, I have a leaderboard.
Okay.
Now, I ask the question, you answer within, 10 seconds. So when you answer 10 seconds, that means you get the full 10 points. When you answer, any seconds thereafter, you get that.
I hope I don't put my fans to shame.
No,
all right,
you're not going to. You're not going to. Because I know that you are going to win this. So if you're actually good, your name will appear among the first 3. So let's see how good you will do.
All right.
So I'm going to mention.
So help me God.
I'm going to mention, the profession, and you tell me the organ in the body they actually work on.
Okay.
Right? You want me to give you an example?
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give an example, but then it's okay. Who is an orthopedics?
Orthopedics, they work on the nails, I think. Or
3, 2, 1. Okay. It's not. I didn't say. You have orthopedics, but it sounds so familiar with how do you call these people? Those people who do the nails, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. What are orthopedics?
Actually, orthopedics, they are the people who work on bones.
Bones.
Yeah,
okay.
bones.
Good to know that.
It's not. That's that. Okay, then let's go for the second one. Okay. Are you ready?
Of course, I'm ready.
Okay. So, who is a neurologist?
The brain.
Yeah. 10 points. Okay. So, who is a psychologist?
A psychologist.
Yeah.
That's so simple.
Yeah, it's so simple.
But it's psychologist.
Yeah.
Work on the psychic.
Yeah, well, I will say the psychic. But then, that's actually something I really want to explain to you before we finally do this podcast.
All right.
You've heard of a psychologist and a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Have you heard of those two before?
Yeah.
Now, psychologist is actually a doctor. Yeah.
Psychiatrist. Okay, let me
tell me what you know. Yeah, go on.
They deal more with the lunatics, I think.
Who is a lunatic?
One who has a brain disorder.
Yeah. Normally, you have a neurologist who does the brain stuff.
Brain surgery.
Yeah. Well, not
people like Ben Carson.
Yeah, good. He's a neurosurgeon. We have a neurologist who does the medical aspect of brain problems. Then we have the psychologist who actually use your brain, works on how your brain connects with your body, your feelings. Yeah, that's the psychologist.
I think you don't have to be in the medical field to be a
psychiatrist.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, that's what I'm
but
saying.
you should be a doctor to be a psychologist.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that.
That was easier
Yeah,
than the
those
first
people
one.
who work on, yeah. So it's easier. So yeah, you had your point, but it's 15. You took time to answer, said it was easier. Meanwhile, time was actually passing by. Taufik,
It's
I
okay.
really enjoyed this with you.
The pleasure is mine.
And
The
I
pleasure is
am
mine.
very sure that when I get into the market the next time, I'll have the right words to actually,
Pick up.
get you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys should get prepared. Before you go, you've written books. You are going to just tell us briefly about your books. And then you leave us your social handles, because I feel like you do a lot of interesting stuff on Instagram that I need to copy from. But it's the time. It's the time.
Yeah. I like to say that my debut publication is Honey the Butterflies. Although I've co-authored other books, but I take much more pride in Honey the Butterflies because it's my sole publication.
A butterfly which is honeyed.
Yeah, because butterfly represents different things across different cultures in the world. So, and they mean beautiful things to different people all over different parts of the world. So, and honey, the health benefits.
What is funny is that I no longer take honey. I used to take it when I was young, but now when I take it, I always have stomach upset, so I stopped. And it's good. It actually works on the brain.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, it's about love, it's about heartbreak, it's about racism, it's about politics, it's about religion. It's a whole lot.
I'll stick to one part.
So the love part, obviously.
Yeah.
So then I'm working on another publication. I think this is the first time I'm saying it's on here.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So it's gonna be out this year. I'm still in communication with my publisher. So should I say the title? No, no, but it's...
You are so excited about it, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very excited about it, because this time around, it's gonna portray the other side. People always say, Akombi Taufik writes about love.
I want to get everything.
So now it's not love. So I hope you guys will be looking forward to that. It's a memoir, and it's gonna be
down here. I mean,
both about both love, not love, prose and poetry. So it's going to be a combination of prose and poetry.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what my next book is going to be about.
So, Bennett here.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's what's making it weak.
I hope I don't end up disrupting everything.
No.
Okay. Now it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, you're about to even finish the podcast. So that's that. Basically, you're looking forward to those books. No wonder people say I have butterfly in my tummy, because it's a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing. So yeah, we are looking forward to it. And your Instagram handles where we can.
Yeah, Akombi Taufik.
Okay, I'll put it on screen. You guys don't worry. You're going to look it.
The goal is to, with my books, right? The first publication is a collection of poetry. So this time around, I'm working on both prose and poetry. Right, and the next one coming after that is a novella. So stay tuned.
I think we are going to do a movie soon from your books.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm also into. I've been introduced into script writing. Yeah. So I'm tapping into various forms of writing.
Good.
I don't want to be like that. There was an interview I was in, and somebody introduced me as a poet. I said, no, I'm not a poet. I'm a writer.
You're a writer.
Because I write different forms of literature. The Black Excellence Academy. So it's a platform to that focuses on sub-Saharan African students studying in Morocco. We try to give them soft skills and skills basically to integrate them furthermore in the Moroccan society. And at the same time, we don't want sub-Saharan students to go back to their country or wherever they're going to and just go back with their degree, solely their degree. We want them to have like real life experiences and skills that would furthermore give them much more value in the system. So that's what we're working on. That's
a very good initiative, because there are a lot of people, they just come here, all they do is schooling home, and then they do nothing about Moroccan culture.
The thing is, me and Ahmed, when we started, it's more like we find ourselves more in those academic realms, and we don't see other Africans. It saddens our hearts. Yeah. We see people. The room is always full with Moroccans. I mean, going to an event and you see people who are handpicked and selected, you see maybe over 100 people in a room and you're the only African there. I mean, it's saddening. So we want to see sub-Saharan students in rooms like this, tap into the academic realms.
If you want to, partake in, conferences, you want to do more other than just learning, know about culture, know about almost everything. Just do well and then follow
Black Excellence. You can follow Akombi Taufik on Instagram or follow Black Excellence
Academy. You see everything about Black Excellency as well, as long as you follow him. So this has been it, guys. I really actually had a very nice conversation with Taufik. I also thank you for coming.
Thank you very much,
you guys, please, do well to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. You don't want me to nail down asking you to subscribe, and also leave a
You don't
comment.
know, maybe that's what they're waiting for.
Yeah. Should I do?
No, come on.
No, you know the screen. I said the screen. The camera is. If I know that you guys wouldn't see, that's unfortunate. Maybe some other time I'll fix the cameras in a way I can nail down for you guys to see. Do well to leave a like as well as a comment. Comment on the video. All right. This was just really mostly about love. I know you guys have some love to share. So this is the moment to share it. And Taufik is from Nigeria. So Nigerian guys, don't disappoint him, let it happen.
It's okay. It's okay. It's going to be fine.
So fine, Taufik, you are moving to first.